Okay, hello. It's EBENLO, painter song coming at you from Southern California. And I'd just like to share with you today a bit of painting, a bit of mixing of paint, a bit of mixing of glaze even, because I'm going to work on the skin tone today. You're going to see it start to pop a little in the skin tone when I add the medium tone, which is a yellow, kind of a washed out yellow. So, yeah, let's get started. Okay. Got a lot of color on the main area of the palette today, so I'm taking this handy dandy razor knife. It's got a retract thing and a lock thing feature. And all you do is you just take the straight edge of it and start peeling up some of the paint you don't want there. I'm taking out some of this orange. I've got it on the amount of orange that is on the skin is the amount I want it to be. So I really don't need to have that on the palette anymore. This is where your paper towels come in handy. Try not to get that on the floor and let it drop. Speaking of which, you really should consider, before you set up all of this in your table or whatnot, your whole painting spiel, you should set down some thick plastic on the ground so you don't ruin your carpet. Yeah, so that's a good tip, I think anyway. So that way you, don't get in trouble with your folks or your next buyer of your property if you are beholden to them. But if you don't care and you're not beholden to anybody, by all means, just go with the carpet. But you're not going to be very pleased when you accidentally drop a brush, which is bound to happen. Some of these brushes just get slippery. Alright. Anyway, I did the main part here, and then you take the razor knife, the razor, and just scrub the glass that you're working on. Scrub it with the razor and pull up all the rest of that orange, or all the rest of whatever color you're wanting to get rid of. And yeah, that's how you do that. Let me make sure you can see my palette. Yeah, you can. Okay. Again, I wish I could play some music, but even my own personal music is going to be like a copyright flag, so I'll just do my best to fill in the gaps with a little bit of good conversation here. At least I hope to. Alright, let's go grab the glaze here, or the medium, by Daniel Smith, painting medium for oil and alkyds. Not exactly sure what an alkyd is, but I think I used an alkyd one time when I used a drying agent. I think a drying agent might be considered an alkyd. Anyway, putting down a strip of the medium. I'm going to grab me some yellow here by M. Graham & Co. This is a cadmium yellow deep is what this is. And this is a good color to use a little bit of for the skin. I'm just gonna put a dab of it because with the oil medium, and then I'm gonna put some white in and a tiny bit of red in. That should make me a kind of a yellow peach color. I've got some white that I can use on the palette here, some titanium white. I'm just gonna grab that and dab that over here. And then there's a dab of red. You think it might make an orange again, but I'm going to dab or grab some of the pink over here, the flesh tone, and that should give me a peach color. At least that's what I'm hoping. If you have a Costco membership and you need paper towels, you might as well just get you a case of them, because you're going to go through it within a year or within 6 months even. I go through tons of paper towels every day. Alright, here we go. Let's just start mixing. I'm probably going to need a lot more white and a lot more yellow, but we'll see. Yeah, a lot more white. Just a big old chunk of it is what I need. Here we go. Let's use this one. One of my teachers told me that this Master's Touch Fine Art Studio oil color is kind of for amateurs. That it isn't as good as the M. Graham & Co. colors, but I bought it, so I figure I might as well use it. It's still archival, I believe. I mean, that's what... It's just the vehicle's refined flax oil. I mean, that's just what they were using back in the olden days, so... If it was good for... If flax oil was good enough, or even linseed oil, refined linseed oil was good enough for, like, you know, Da Vinci, then it's good enough for me. Can't tell me that they had awesome binding colors in the olden days. You know what I mean? M. Graham & Co. is just the creme de la creme of oil paint. Let me see what they use as a binder. It might not even have it listed. Let's see. The vehicle is alkali refined walnut oil. So, yeah, it's just, like I said, the creme de la creme of oil paint. Okay, this peachy kind of color looks pretty good. I think I could stand a little more yellow, though. And I gotta look where I put it. There it is. A little more yellow. Maybe a little more white. Maybe that yellow will bring out the color I need. Let's take a look here. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna bring it down here with the glaze, start mixing it together with the oil medium. Okay, now that's just a little too yellow now. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the white and see if I get what I want. Big old chunk of it. Okay. This is gonna bring with the color, I can already tell it's gonna bring the color I want. Just a real pale yellow that is with medium, so it's transparent. Nice pale yellow. Okay. Okay. Now give me more glaze. I should order me some more of this Daniel Smith oil medium. It's not getting too low, but I'm gonna keep using it for this painting probably. Let's see. No, you know what? Actually, probably won't. I'll probably finish the actual skin tone today with what I'm working on right here. So we're good after this with the oil medium for a while. Probably won't use any more on the painting. Once you block in the main colors that you're looking for, you're really getting close to being done, honestly. Because you got the base tone, and then I'll spend time doing this medium color today, this medium high highlight color. It's going to be the base of the highlights, basically. Sort of a 3/4 to white tone here is what this is. And yeah, so let's get started actually painting. I'm going to choose just this particular brush is getting a little bit like splayed and frayed, you know what I mean? But when you put wet paint on it, it'll actually do good for you, I think. It'll go back to having a kind of a point. Well, maybe not. Yeah, it's kind of like that when it's done. It's a little bit splayed and frayed still. Maybe I'll break this brush when I'm done here today. Not today, but when I'm done with the painting. It's kind of seen its better days. But point is when it's splayed and frayed like that, you can still get a nice spread out of it, you know? And what happens is you get almost like an airbrush effect out of it because it's splayed like that. Okay, so there's my first line. I can pretty much go over and do stuff like this. I want it to be kind of uniform. He's got a highlight on his shoulder here. what looks pretty cool right up here above where I'm painting actually. But what I'll do is I'll just give this medium highlight to his arm here. You want it to look rather smooth. Not overly like putting the coverage of the paint everywhere. You just want it to be, you want to let some of this orange shine through still. Because what that orange looks like is, it looks like his blood is pumping, his skin is a little bit flushed. And he's alive. The red that shines through in the orange gives the illusion of life to your painting. This arm has a section to it that's being highlighted by a spotlight, so you can see it's brighter than his other part of his arm up here. And you got to notice that kind of thing, so that way the light is hitting correctly. Okay, like so. What else can I show you? His neck is a little bit drawn, and this area is actually a little pink here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that area right now. Right here, like so. It's just a little bit pink there. And that is also giving the illusion of life. There's a little pink out here. I'll enjoy adding to this area. Okay. And maybe a little pink out here on his elbow. Okay. Now I'll go back to the white glaze, the yellow glaze, pale yellow glaze here, just to kind of wash out some of that pink. And I want to do this area, which to me looks a little bit yellow in the reference photo. Like so. And it looks like kind of a area of his clavicle. It's about right here. I'm gonna dip it a little bit right where it naturally would be. And then paint below here with the pale yellow glaze. So that way it looks like his body's got some substance to it. It's a little bit being hit by the, what you call, the spotlight. And then do this area over here. You don't want to paint too much over that green, because even though it's on my, still on my palette over here, it might not be too good to paint over that green. So anyway, the neck area is a little bit more pink, just a tad. So I will add the pink again to my brush and mix it with some of the glaze, because it's not as pink as this little part right here, but it's definitely pink. So I'll paint the whole area of the neck. Let's see, it's gonna go like this, like so. Boom, and then boom, and then come down with it. Try to leave some outlines there for the necklace. Try to leave the neck outline so you don't totally get rid of that definition. And then just paint the rest as a block, like you were block painting. Which sounds like something you would do in New York City, painting on the block. Or painting al fresco. Or plein air painting, which I've done down in Venice Beach actually before. It was mostly drawing on the beach, not necessarily painting. I was drawing on the beach. I haven't really oil painted on Venice Beach yet, but that would be a lot of fun. It'd be a good time. All right. Well, in this area, there's a little shadow there. I'll come back to that. Mostly, I'm looking at the face, and I want to paint the color I have. Well, actually, the glaze. I need to wipe my brush off and paint that glaze on some of the face. Okay. Okay. Back to my lighter glaze color, and I'm going to paint from left area to right, hopefully. The idea in the areas that I see it's got the color I want. You're gonna see some definition start to pop. As you paint the more protruding parts of the face. You know, you don't want to, the face is more high detail. So I'm going to paint a little more exact with a smaller brush that's about like this size, not too big, and just roll with painting parts of the face that are protruding. The lips, the upper lip especially, is protruding here, like so. And it goes into the nose area, about like that. And what else can I paint? The lower lip in this area. Looks like that to me. I'm taking a little bit with my pinky off of the line below his mouth. And it goes like this. Down below his mouth on his chin, it's like really bright in one area and not so bright in other areas. Okay. And this whole side of the face is pretty bright. Since it is, I'm going to just work with the other brush and go like this. Just paint all that. You might be able to notice I'm not really painting much on the left-hand side of the face yet, even though I usually work left or right. But it's okay. I'm not resting my hand on the painting to do the work right now, so we're good to go. This little line right here is going to get covered, but it's going to shine through just a little bit still. So it's going to do exactly what I want it to do, which is still be present, barely still be present, and shine through just a bit. Okay, I'm going to give him a little bit of cheek here, and it goes like a J almost, like a backwards J, like that is what I see. And I can add a little bit more to that, like that. And that's sort of what I see right in that area. Pretty much what I see anyway. And then I'll switch back to my other brush for the eyebrow, not the eyebrow, the eyelash area and the eyelid area right here. Switch back to the small one and just do the shapes that I see. Okay, it goes like at a little curve here. That's his eyelid. Then I'll paint right above the lash, like so. And I'll do it the same for the other side. It's a little different shape, like that. It's a little smaller actually, from what I can tell. You go like that, and then there's a thing above the eyelid, that kind of a little round thing. Round area that's, I don't know, it's part of the skull maybe, but it's also got, it's part of the skin. Okay. Well, from what I can tell, I'm liking it. goes like that. And then over here on the forehead, I want it to be a little more uniform, because I can see that's what it looks like to me in the reference photo. Now, I said in another video, I don't want to be beholden to the maker of this reference photo. It's kind of complicated because if the reference photo was made by a guy named, like Chuck Woolery or something like that, or an artist, I don't know, Bob Ross, let's say it was Bob Ross. Okay, then you would technically have to name your painting the name you want it to be, and then you have to cite the photographer. It's like tradition, or even legal tradition. This painting would end up being named a little mouthful. I'm calling it Heartbreak Guitar Warfare, John Mayer after Bob Ross. And I don't want to do that. It's like not, I don't know. It's not cool, in my opinion, to have a big old mouthful. So what I did do to avoid that is I used several different reference photos. I've actually been in the presence of John Mayer before at ASCAP, and I have a photo of him there too that I looked at. And yeah, so all I want to say is it's problematic sharing your reference photos, so don't do it. At least that's what my book says, playbook says to do. Just don't share your reference photos. You don't want to get cease and desist letters, so don't make your painting look too much like the person's reference photo. You do that, you end up in trouble. And I've been there. I made like I said before, I made one of my Beatles paintings look too much like the reference photo. And the guy had every right to tell me to cease and desist from selling t-shirts with that photo on it, because I didn't cite his painting in the name of the work. I didn't give him any credit for what he worked at. And I think he deserved it. So don't do it unless you want to get in trouble, honestly. That's what I think. Unless you're itching to get in trouble, then go ahead. If you're itching to get in trouble, go ahead and make your reference photo exactly like, your painting exactly like your reference photo. And suffer the consequences, in my book. But if you're like me, you want to be smart about your work, you don't want to get in trouble, you don't want to cite the name of the artist, of the photographer on your title of your painting, then draw from many reference photos and bury your work and never share your reference photo, because then they have legal right to say, oh, see, he used my photo for his work, I should get credit and I should get a cut of the money. Which, in my book, yeah, there is money to be made in art, but personally, I haven't seen very much of it. So far. It's always nice to get paid for your work, and if you are doing a caricature and are drawing from many different sources to make your own creative decisions as to what is on the painting, you don't feel like sharing. Although they say half of something is better than nothing. There's that. There's truth to that. But personally, after working so hard on a painting, I don't feel like sharing with anybody but my family. Okay, well, shoot. That's looking pretty good to me. Could use some shadows here under the chin, and maybe a little bit here under the arm, maybe a little bit here under the arm, definitely down here under the arm in this area. But I think for now we're going to call that good as far as the video goes. I've got 37 minutes of a video, and this will be light skin tones here. So, all right, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Cheers. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And yeah, comment, please comment, say anything, you know, decent. And yeah. Oh, you know what? I just noticed I didn't even touch this hand. Okay, let me do that real quick before I sign off. All right. Actually, I already signed off, so I'll just do this real quick and call it good. Okay, there's that, and then that, and then this, and that, Anna. It's like this and like that and like that, Anna. It's like this. All right. There's that little circle, that little circle, that little circle. Then go here, go here. And little part that goes like this. Little part that goes like this. Okay. Part like that. Okay. Well, I like the look of that. Maybe it has a little bit more down here, so it's not so orange right in that area. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. EBENLO out.